Well, welcome back to another coffee and a chat. So today hopefully I'm going to get this done and put up right away so it comes up the same day. Today's election day. And I just want to share with you a little bit about my day, how it's gone, what God's done. One thing that those of you that have been following me for a while, I think, you probably figured out I'm not trying to be perfect and appear to do everything right and always get it right or to even look good. This channel, as it has kind of grown and developed, it's just so about just being real and just it is what it is. And I'm okay with that. There was a time in my life I wouldn't have been, where I would have needed everything to just be perfect. And that just isn't the case anymore. And I think that part of it is there's a lot of real life that's going on with people, and a lot of people that, I don't know, when what you're watching and seeing out there is like this perfection that and it starts to feel like you need to amount up to that or become perfect like that. And you can't, because it's just not real life. I mean, you can't for any great length of time. So I think that there is a good thing in just being real and being raw, so that I think more people relate, because then it's like, yeah, I know. I have the same issues. I'm going through the same things, whatever. So I'm saying that because I'm going to tell you some things about my day and how God has ministered to me in this. And I haven't been perfect. I've struggled with some attitudes and some feelings and all. Now, before I tell you exactly, pretty much what's happened, I think it's important for you to know that as I'm sitting here, I don't even know what time it is. It's in the afternoon. Of course, time change, everything's happening faster now. The sun is already, getting ready. It's on, the lower part of the sky. So we're getting all these shadows or whatever. Maybe I'll make my double chin not so noticeable. Or maybe it'll make it worse. But anyway, it's in the afternoon sometime. And what I want to point out is that my situation, my circumstances haven't really changed. The questions and the concerns and the anxieties, things that were giving me anxiety and stuff when I got up this morning, they're all still pretty much holding at the same place they were when I woke up this morning. But I've changed. The inside me has changed. My heart has changed. And even though I haven't seen God, move and answer specific prayers and take care of some things that I'm having, He's my only hope, that I'm waiting on him for. Even though he hasn't done that, he has done a work in me. And I have tremendous joy over that and so much peace right now. And so I want to point that out. My circumstances are still the same, but I'm not. And that's because of Jesus. Okay. So I woke up this morning, had a hard time sleeping last night, had a lot of anxiety, had to get up a few times to let some dogs out. And, and that's Marvin does that with me. I wish we could have had children together, because he's the guy that would get up in the middle of the night. Every time the baby cried, he'd be up with you. He's such a great husband. I don't know how or why God would bless me with such an amazing man, but I am so thankful for him. So anyway, so Marvin and I were up and down a few times last night with some dogs that I think were probably a couple little tummy issues. When you make a change in their diet, some of them don't always adjust so well to it. It takes some time. But anyway, whatever was going on, we were getting up with them and And we went to bed early last night. I mean, we went to bed at 8 o'clock. For us, that's really super early. But we've been tired. And I've got some things that that I'm responsible for taking care of, and yet they're kind of messed up, and I'm having to go to other people that hold the power to fix the mess up, and without going into details, because it's concerning some, another person, not just me. And it's been a bit of a stress that I've been carrying. And so today I hadn't, was going to go deal with that first thing in the morning, and then go vote. And I will say, I think my greatest anxiety that I was feeling this morning and all was the voting thing. Not about, because my grandson, after we voted, he's like, see, that wasn't so bad. What were you nervous about? I'm like, oh no, that's not the part that makes me nervous, me going in to cast a vote. I've been doing that for, almost 50 years. I've been going and casting votes. So yeah, that, it's been I've been voting for like 48 years, something like that. So I'm like, that's not the part that makes me nervous. It's what the outcome's going to be, because this election feels like there's more writing on it than any election I've been through in my lifetime. So, and I'm pretty sure that's true. And I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that it really doesn't matter who they're going to tell us, is our president, our next president. Whoever it is, there is a lot of tension, a lot of emotions running high. There's going to be some issues. I remember during, the pandemic, and then, the shots and everything, that there was a division, at least there definitely was where we live, whether you got it or didn't get it, and people that, didn't want anything to do with you if you didn't get it, or didn't want anything to do with you if you did get it. And it was very divisive, which is ridiculous, but in my opinion, but it was very divisive for a lot of people. Well, this election, even more so. And so, yeah, and I don't like to get into politics. I don't like people getting all hyped up about it and arguing about it. I don't like me getting hyped up about it and arguing about it. So it's not a topic that I usually am anxious to go approach. But, we're going to, all this buildup that's been coming, we will know. I don't know when, because this may take longer. There may be counting and recounting. I don't know how it's going to go. But eventually we're going to know what the decision is. And I had a little anxiety about it. I had a lot of anxiety about it. And I was feeling all this, and I when I got out of bed, it's like there was such a weight on me that I couldn't function. And I was like, Lord, what is going on? Am I not trusting you? Because I believe I trust you. I mean, I lean on you for everything. And am I just not trusting you? And then, it's like, well, do I not have enough faith? Is that what's going on? Because I think I do. I mean, usually, but, then I said, but I know that sometimes what we think something should be, and what the thing is, sometimes you still let hard things happen, bad things happen. Is this going to be bad? Is it going to be hard? Probably is, no matter what the outcome is. But what are we facing here? I don't know. And there's that unknown thing. So I know that sometimes, yeah, Lord, sometimes you do let it be the hard thing, or what we perceive as the bad thing. But I know that it's always to fulfill your purpose, your plans. It's for my best good, whether I understand it or not. I know that even when I pray and ask in faith for things, that there are sometimes when you tell me no. And even though I think that's the end of the world, because I think what I want and how I want it to be, or what I want you to provide for me, that's the good thing. That's the way it should be. But you know what's best. And sometimes you say, no, Angie, that is not good for you. So if you're going to trust me, then I'm going to say no on this one. So maybe I'm just concerned about how you're going you're going to move in all this. And I'm like, I don't want to be that way. I just want to just rest peacefully and trust in you. And I need to go get in the Word. So I went into my little place, and I didn't have very much time because we needed to get out the door to get to the first stop that we had to go to take care of a financial problem, to try and get that straightened out, which it still isn't, but it's going to be. And there is a plan of how that can be straightened out. But yeah. Okay. So it's just, the left hand and the right hand haven't been communicating, and now maybe they are. We'll see. So again, not something I did and not something I can fix, but it does affect my household. So anyway, so we had to go take care of that first, and so I'm like, I need to go get it. Lord, I just need some scripture, something that will just kind of just put this peace in me. So I opened my Bible to, I thought, well, I'll just pick up reading where, I normally do, and I'll just read a few verses where I would be reading next. And so as I opened my Bible to Isaiah 34, because that's where I was going to be going next, I saw on the page Isaiah 33:22. And I had read yesterday, and I'd underlined it, and yet it didn't seem, I didn't remember that, but I knew I had, because it hadn't been underlined before. And so I'm like going, okay. So I was drawn to that, and I read it, and here's what it said. Hope I get this right. For the Lord our God. Oh, how does it go? For the Lord our God is our judge. For the Lord is our judge. That's what it is. For the Lord is our judge. The Lord is our lawgiver. The Lord is our king. He is the one who will rescue us. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. How in the world? Oh, I don't know. It just started putting in peace. Yes, you're our judge, and you judge rightly, and you're our lawgiver. It's your laws we need to follow, and no matter who is put down as president at the end of the day, you're our king, and nobody else is going to come save us. It's only you, Lord. It's only you. You're the one who will save us. He's the one that will protect us. He's the one that will encourage us. He's the one that will meet our needs. And it just put this peace in my heart. And I wanted to sit down right then and try to, just put a short video out and put it out there. And yet that was not possible. I was stopped from doing it. And so I thought, well, okay, maybe the Lord doesn't want me to put it out there. Maybe that's what it is. But no, it just was, that would have been too soon. So we went where we needed to go to try and take care of this problem. And for the first time, because this isn't the first time we've gone to try and take care of this problem, but for the first time, there was actually somebody who really actually seemed to care and want to help us. And she took care of stuff as we were sitting there going, okay, well, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and take care of this. And this is, and we're having this sent in the mail to you. And, and I'm making an appointment for you to come back tomorrow to get this other part settled. And then all we got to do is just wait a few days for it all to take place. And everything will be straightened out and be what it's supposed to be. And I'm like, really? I mean, this woman was so helpful. Yep, here's where it is. And it wasn't like, sometimes when people will just kind of like, they're trying to brush you off, it was like, no, this woman really was taking care of something. And I had prayed before we got there as we were going. I was just asking the Lord to please give us favor and have us go to the right window that was going to really be able to help us. And I just was like, wow, the Lord, he took care of this. I mean, Marvin and our grandson and I, we were all there, and we all walked out going, wow, that was amazing. And so then the next thing was we needed to go drop something off for a friend of ours. And So, Marvin ran it up to the door, and we didn't think he was home, but he got there, and so Marvin saw him for a few minutes and stuff. And then as we were, at that point, Marvin goes, let's just go to the voting polls next. And I go, yeah, let's do that, because I want to get it taken care of. I don't know if there's going to be a big line or what we're going to deal with. So we took off and started heading towards where we need to go to vote. And we passed, on that route, we would be passing one of the food pantries that we go to, our regular one. And Marvin hasn't been in several weeks. And there's a man there, actually the man that first told us about the food pantry, which was a cool thing. Marvin saw his truck. He goes, you know what? I just want to stop for a minute, because they weren't doing food pantry today, but they were getting food that was being delivered and getting it ready for next week. And Marvin ever so often will stop when they're doing that, just so he can see this guy and they can give each other a hard time or whatever. And so he goes, I just want to stop for a minute and just see how he's doing and all. And so I'm like, that's fine. And so we stopped, and Marvin went in. And then Marvin's coming out going, hey, they want you to come in. And so anyway, so we went in, and this ended up being, they gave us a little bit of food that they had that they didn't think would make it till Monday. And so they're like, here, some stuff that was perishable. And they go, do you want some of this? And it's like, yes, thank you. And so some produce that they didn't think would probably still be good. And I don't even know. There was a few other things too that had not expected that, but it was a tremendous blessing. And so, anyway, the real blessing though was to be able to share with them. And, and there was just these two women and this man that were there doing all this. And I was just like, I go, and I just started telling them how I'd been feeling today. And I shared I want to share my verse with you, because I've got it written down in my purse. And, as I was going about doing stuff today, I kept pulling it out and reading it again. And, so, so I shared it with them, and the one woman was like, I know the Lord is just so good to us, and he takes care of us. And I said, I go, I don't know if people always say thank you for what you guys do, because they work very hard. When you go to the food pantry, they're handing out food, but you don't even realize the hours that they put in before the day they're handing out food even, and all that they do to get things ready and to make it as good and nice as they can, and to really, their hearts are into this. And so I said, I just want to share with you guys the miracle of how we ever found your food pantry. So it was right after my dad had passed away. He had been gone for a few months, and things were, it was during pandemic and a bunch of other stuff that was going on. And it was just financially getting really tough for us. We had burnt through a lot of our retirement money taking care of my parents. And so, we already were, we didn't have that reserve that we thought we were going to have to be pulling back on. And what we did have was only going to last so long. And there just was a lot of things going on, and we were struggling. And anyway, this is when I had said, I'd always joked that we'd cut our budget down as tight as it could go. And so the next thing, the only thing we had left was we'd have to cut food out of the budget, like that was a joke, only it started to become a reality. And our cupboards were getting bare fast, and we didn't hardly have any food left, and we didn't have any money. It was a ways till our Social Security checks would hit. We didn't have a way to go get food. And we just were like, okay, Lord, what are we going to do? And so I said, we were driving past here. It was a Sunday. And there was this gentleman that my husband's made friends with. I go, he was standing out there, and there was, we didn't even know what this place was, but there was a tree that had been taken down, and the wood was just laying there. And so Marvin had said, well, I'm going to stop and ask them what they're going to do with that wood, because if they just need it hauled off and we can have it, because we burn wood for heat, that would be a blessing. Well, when we stopped and he asked the guy, he's like, oh no, that's the state took that down because they're going to widen the road and all, and that they've got plans for it. so I can't give it to you. And Marvin goes, that's fine, no problem. And then the guy goes, but by the way, did you know that we have a food pantry here? And, and it's tomorrow and it's every week. Did you guys know that? And we're like, no. And so he told us about the food pantry, just, if we needed it or knew of anybody that needed food, that to just be there by, whatever time in the morning. And that's when they do it. So, well, Marvin the next day in the morning was supposed to be helping a friend of ours that needed some stuff moved with the tractor. And so Marvin was going to go help him. And so he goes, you'll have to go, by yourself and go up there and see if you can get a little bit of food. So I'm like, I'll go. So I went up there and there was this woman that greeted me. She's not there anymore. She was an older woman. So I maybe she's just not doing the food pantry anymore. But she came to the car and, and I'm like, I've never been here before. I don't know what to do. And she goes, oh yeah, no problem. And she just was so sweet and kind to me. And here's what you do. And here's how we do it, and how many people are in your household. And we'll bring some food. And, would you want us to put it in the back or in the seat or where do you want it, and then there's this table over here that you can go pick out some things that you need. And, if you see anything there that you could use, and that's our little share table. And it just was like, are you kidding me? So I went and I was really shy about it. I remember I only took just a couple of items off the table because, I don't want to be greedy or anything, but there was so much food and I just was, stuff that like we really needed. And so I got a few items and and then I go back to the car and she goes, well, we've got all your stuff in the back. So, but we didn't close it so that you can put, whatever you got off the share table in there. And so I went to the back of our car. It was so full of food that I was like, are you kidding me? This is what they do for 2 people for a week? Like, oh my word. And, it was so much. Now, there's not as much anymore at the food pantries because they're hurting more. But at that time, they had plenty of food. And there was eggs and toilet paper. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was so excited and so blessed. And there was fresh produce and there were canned goods and there was meat and I just like everything. Like, oh my word, I was overwhelmed with all of this. And it's like, if we get that much food, we don't have to go every week, because Marvin and I don't eat that much. And I just was feeling so blessed and I was just singing and praising God all the way home, and I'm telling them this, and I go, I know for us, because it's gotten even tougher, this makes all the difference in our life as to whether or not we have enough food to eat. And I know it makes this difference in other people's lives too. And so I just want you to know, even if people don't always remember to say thank you, that you are such a blessing to so many of us, that what you guys do makes all the difference in our lives. And, so they're like, oh, thank you, and they go, yeah, there are people that do thank us and that, but, we're not trying to get the thanks. We just want to make sure people are taken care of. And I go, yeah, but you need to know that it is doing good and that you are appreciated. And so, so I got to share that with them and it just, and we talked about the Lord and the goodness of God and how, and this one lady that was there, she goes, this is why we've got to listen to God, because he knows he knows what we need and he knows where to go get it. And if we'll just listen to him, he'll send us to the right place, because that day that you pulled over to ask about that tree, about the wood, you didn't know that it was really that God was telling you, here's where there's food. Which is so true. And, and that's another thing, I know there's people that would be like, oh, don't let people know that you have to go to the food. You know what? This is the real world. And I'm noticing at food pantries and stuff that there's more and more people that have gray hair like my husband and I that are there. There are more people that are really struggling. And, it makes a difference. And there's young families with lots of kids that show up. And, there are people that really need help. And I praise God that the help is there. Doesn't mean it's always going to be what you want, but it will be enough for what you need. You can make it work. And, you just have to see the blessing in it. And I figure a person who's really picky, choosy, well, I couldn't eat that. I couldn't do that. Well, okay, you're not hungry enough to need to be here yet. Go home and come back in a few weeks when it's gotten tougher. I don't know. But I know that there's probably going to be more and more people that are going to end up at food pantries, and not less and less. So it was a blessing to get to thank them today. It was a blessing to get to talk to them about the Lord. And, and I'm going to say this in here. I'm not going to mention your name, but I know you're watching. One of my neighbors that showed up on my doorstep the other day, and this will make me cry. Anyway, she showed up, and she'd brought a couple things over, but the one thing was she handed me a gift card for the grocery store up the road here. And she goes, I had a little extra money in my grocery bill, or, my grocery budget. I think you're a liar. I don't think anybody has extra money in their grocery budget line. But she said, I just wanted to give you this gift card because I know you go to food pantries. And I remember later, I'm like, how's she know? Oh, she watches my videos, and I just put it all out there. So, but she said, I figure there's some things that you might need that you can't get from the food pantry. And she goes, like eggs. And I go, funny enough, I do usually get eggs there, but there are a lot of things that you can't get, like butter. I don't get butter from the pantry. You get the food pantry gives out one roll of toilet paper a week. That's not going to do you for a week, and not when there's 3 of us in the house. And there's some things you cannot get through the food pantry. And so I just want you to know, I'm not naming your name because, then all the neighbors will want you to do it for them. No. But I want to thank you for what you did, because I took that gift card that same day, praising God all the way to the grocery store for his provision, and was able to pick up some items that I'd been like, Lord, how are we going to get these? Because I don't have the money to go get them right now, and we are out. And some things you can live without, but there's some things that you kind of need, like it's really nice to have a bar of soap when you're taking a shower. Yeah. So, so I was able to go get some of those things and take care of it. And I praise God how he, in a very unexpected way, met that need. And so to my neighbor, I love you, and I thank you so much for what you did, because I believe, whether you know it or not, I believe God moved on your heart to do that, because he knew that I was trusting him for something, and he decided to send it some way that I never would. I never expected something like that to happen. So it really blessed me. In fact, I've been blessed by several of my neighbors this week that have brought over baked goods or whatever, trying out a new recipe. Let me know what you think. My grandson has really been happy. My one neighbor lady brought this giant cookie that she had made, and so, well, that was good, and he was like, wow, that was really nice, and then she called, and do you like it, because I got a couple more, and he's like, yeah. So anyway, I have great neighbors, and I'm so grateful to all of them, and now I'm just like, what can I do for them, because I don't want it to ever just be one-sided. But I'm very thankful for how God moves in our lives. Well, anyway, okay, so food pantry, moving along, short story getting long. Oh yeah, whatever. It's been a good day, even though the circumstances are the same. It's been a great day. So then stopped to vote, and my neighbor lady, I have a neighbor lady that's always helping out at the polls. So I got to see her and talk to her. And then this other woman, as I was walking out, I heard, my neighbor had said, well, bye, Angie, and then I hear somebody else go, was that Angie? And I'm thinking, who's that? Nobody knows me. Like, I didn't see anybody else in there that knows me. And this woman comes running out. Well, the polling place that we go is where my mom and dad used to go to church. And so this woman came out, and she's like, I knew your parents when they went to church here, and everything. And so she had come by the house a few times. Maybe that's how because I don't know how she would know that my neighbor would know me. But she goes, I was like, oh, when she said, bye, Angie, I was like, is that Angie? Because, I didn't know if you'd remember me or whatever. Well, I did after she started, she told me who she was and everything. That's like, okay, I remember, I haven't seen her for about 4 years, but I remembered. And so anyway, sweet lady, and got to talk to her for a few minutes about my mom and dad and share with her about, some of the things God's doing. And again, just blessed me. And anyway, when I left this house this morning, I was a wreck. When I came home, all the things I was a wreck about are still the same. None of that's changed. But I was changed and have been so full of peace and joy since, because God is in control and I do trust him and I do have faith in him. There's still some unknown things that can be a little scary at times, but it's going to be okay. And whatever, the financial thingy, I just feel such a peace that, this thing it's fixed. I've got another appointment. I'll go back to do the final stuff. And then it's just waiting for everything to change over and it'll be fine. So praising God for that, for sending us to the right window with somebody who really could help us. And whatever this election turns out, no matter how it turns out, it's not going to be perfect. And there's not going to be a perfect president in office or a perfect person to be the president. It's going to be somebody with flaws and shortcomings because they're human. And that's how it is. But, the Bible says that God puts all kings and authorities in position, the good and the evil. But it's all for his purpose, for his honor, for his glory. So regardless of how this turns out, I know that God's got his hand on this and it will be used to honor and glorify him. Things may get better. A lot of people believe that if the right person is in office, and that could be anybody, because everybody has somebody, everybody that's running for president has somebody that thinks they're the right person and that they'll make everything better. Maybe they will. And then there's other people, but if the person that they're not in favor of gets in office, then the whole world's going to come apart. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'm expecting some toughness here at first because so many emotions and stuff are running high, and people have such strong feelings about all of this that I figure, it might get a little ugly here for a while. And, I don't know how you get prepared for that, but I guess as prepared as I can be, I am. And we'll wait, we'll see. And I'm just going to trust the Lord through it all because none of this surprises him. Remember, I just shared that. He's bigger than my circumstances. He's the God of the impossible. He does it every day. And he's not a God of second chances, but he's a God of do-overs because he lets us do it over till we get it done right. So, that's kind of where I'm at. And I just wanted to share it with you today because even though your circumstances maybe haven't changed yet, doesn't mean that you can't change. But it's not like you're going to change you. It's letting the Lord change you, letting him minister to your heart, seeing him in things. When we were leaving the food pantry, one of the ladies stopped and she goes, I don't know what it is, but you just look so beautiful today, more than usual. That made me laugh because I am not beautiful. I have never thought of myself as being beautiful, but when she said, you're just more, she goes, I don't know if it's the sun's hitting you or your purple sweater or how your hair is or what, but, and I'm like, nah, it's because we've been talking about Jesus. That's what Jesus looks like on me. He's beautiful. So, it's him changing us. We can't change ourselves in those things. But if we'll listen to him and give him a chance, he's trying. He's speaking to us and he's working in us if we'll just let him. Okay? just wanted to share that with you. And I suppose we're just hours away. There's probably some results already coming in. So guys, I don't know how this is going to turn out tonight. I don't know who it is that you want to be the next president of the United States. But regardless of how this turns out, I want you to remember that the Lord is our judge. The Lord is our lawgiver. And the Lord is our king. He's the one that will save us. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you again real soon.